So I think you will hear subsequently as well about how great the robot is in terms of how accurate the placement of screws are. But the real question is whether is it clinically cost-effective. So this is a study that we did in our center comparing the O-arm with two different types of robots. It's actually been accepted and just recently published in the Spine Journal. My own personal journey with navigation and robotics is such, spanning 50 years. And these are the number of cases that I've done. So generally spine robots, in terms of robots, there are two types, telesurgical shared control. Our spine robots are essentially shared control robots. Okay, and I think you have already seen this. So this is a table-mounted kind of setup and system. And this is the Globus Excelsior's GPS, which is a floor-mounted navigation-based system. So I've had experience using both. And both are also using the scan and plan protocol. That means we do an O-arm scan first, and then we use the robot. So what I find good about a robot, and has been proven in multiple studies, it's predictable precision and reproducible rigor. So once you surmount the learning curve, a young surgeon, an associate consultant, will be able to put a screw just as effectively as a senior consultant with decades of experience. What you plan is what you get, and you can plan the screw and the cage trajectories. Okay, why you want to use a robot? So sometimes you are faced with a difficult pathology like this here. Planning the screw and putting in a screw freehand, or even with navigation, is very difficult. If you look at the middle picture, you'll see how angulated the screw is. The screw is almost going parallel to the patient. But with the robot, it's so easy, just with one hand, and I just twist my fingers and the screw goes in. Okay, why robot? Sometimes you're also faced with a very, very difficult patient, like an obese patient, and you can do MIS very effectively for the robot, small incisions, and you can get the correction and the decompression and the fusion that's required. So this is our method in which we analyze single center, multi-surgeon, retrospective case series, all right, of elective MIS 1 and 2 level cases, and we compared 3 different groups, okay? And then also looked at the patient demographics and the outcome measures. The early outcome measures are what we looked at within 6 months. We also looked at the costs, all right, for this group. So these cost numbers are peculiar to Singapore, all right. So in terms of the baseline, there is no significant difference in baseline. Comparing all 3 groups in terms of gender, 1-2 level, BMI, the Charlton comorbidity index, etc., is all the same. Okay, and looking at the complications, probably 1 in each group, CSF leak, we had one infection and all that, but no difference in terms of complications in all 3 groups. So now looking at costs. So again, these numbers are in Singapore dollars, and it's peculiar to our country. So if you look at the costs, you would find that the robotic cases, the cost of the consumables and the implant costs changes, all right? But what's unique is there's a difference between our Excelsius GPS robot as well as the MISSAB, and that's because we use the implant associated with the robot. So it's just that the Globus implants in Singapore are sold much cheaper than the Medtronic implants. So that's why there's a cost differential there. All right. In terms of surgical outcome, looking at the surgical duration, the robotic cases do take a little bit longer, not that much long, and is not actually statistically significantly different. The length of stay for each group of patients are about the same, about three days or so. And we also look at the first day ambulation distance, how far the patient can walk on the first day of the op, the day of the op itself, for a few hours after the surgery. And it's also about the same, right? But the only thing that's different is the cost. So essentially, the cost is more. But what's unique here is that the Excelsius is actually cheaper for us. Okay, so the cost of consumables and the cost of implants. So now the question is a robot cost effective? It's actually a very difficult question to answer, because is it cost effective for the individual patient, or is it cost effective for the hospital, or is it cost effective for the healthcare system for Singapore, right? So our study proves there's no added advantage in op duration, post-op ambulation, length of hospital stay compared to O-arm navigation. All right, adding the robot actually doesn't really make a difference. There's no difference in rate of post-operative complications clinically. Although if you measure the screw trajectory and all that, you'll probably get a better result for the robot cases. But clinically, is that meaningful? But for us, fortunately, the implant cost and overall cost is cheaper with the Excelsius robot than even the O-arm navigation. All right, and this has been shown in the multiple regression analysis. So essentially, how do we make it cost effective? I think the robot is here to stay. All right, more and more doctors are being trained in it, even in Singapore, more and more spine surgeons. So the problem is when we adopt a new technology, but we continue doing things the old way, from the pre-op to the intra-op to the post-op, then it's just going to be costly. All right. So I think the robot has to be paired with ERA spine pathway, and then you can show value care, right? Basically, you do a surgery like this in the morning, and 4 hours later, you need to get the patient walking, right? But the patient is not going to get up and walk by himself, so you need the physiotherapist, you need the allied health to help the patient to get up and walk, and then that way, you can show the benefit, right? You decrease the length of stay. So with that, I end.